Hey, Samuel,
Okay.
Google.
All right, so let me get into the meeting and the welcoming and the introductions. So thank you everybody for joining. I see people are still coming in. Welcome to our end of year 2021 celebration of ACOPPHE. ACOPPHE has had a streak of winning for 2021, and we are very proud of this. And we just thought it would be great for us to appreciate our members who have made this a possibility. And this is why we're here to celebrate. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Walia Lungu, and I will be heading the ACOPPHE communications team. This means that I'm working to make sure ACOPPHE is visible and seen, and also to sync all of our work together so that we work seamlessly amongst each other, and to help create connections between groups that we wouldn't have, put together normally, or not thought about, collaborations that we wouldn't have, that were not so obvious. So that is my job in the ACOPPHE greater team. And so I would have liked us to go around introducing ourselves a little bit so we can see you. I don't know if there's a way that we can just do a grid, Nathan, of everybody's camera on so we can all see everybody's beautiful faces. But because we are a lot of us, it would be very wonderful if you could please just put an introduction about yourself in the chat, and everybody will be reading the chat so we get to know each other from there and make the connections from there. I'll hand over to Nightingale at this point, and she'll take over the rest of it. Nightingale?
Thank you, Walia, for the beautiful welcome. And I also apologize because I disappeared with a song that is Zoe's song that she can maybe mention about at some point. So I'm Nightingale, and I think we are all in this space. We know each other so far, and I am right now speaking from California. So glad to have all of us here together. So let me pull up my little note that I hadn't lost. Nathan, could you please resend me the notes?
Just to, while you're looking for the notes, Nightingale, just a few house rules. I will be showing, so if you were asked to say something for your section, I will put up my phone with a timer. I know it's a little bit strict, but like I said earlier on, we really want to just keep everybody on track. So I'll put the timer on, and you speak for how long that you need to speak for, and then please try to keep time. And I'll also ask that you pick up your hands if you have something to say, a question to ask, or a comment to make. And I'm just giving house rules. I know you already know some of these. Nightingale, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So really what I'd like to mention or talk about a little bit is ACOPPHE and how ACOPPHE came about. Maybe start by saying that ACOPPHE stands for Africa Community of Planetary Partners for Health and Environment. And so we'll be touching, or our goal is to touch on all those concepts that are so important to our health and well-being and the planet and all its inhabitants as we understand. So ACOPPHE started in a very grassroots way as a grassroots initiative. And what I can say is that really where there's a will, there's a way. It was last December, which is why we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary today around this time. 1 year ago, last December, we were aware that there was going to be a Planetary Health Alliance meeting that was going to be free. And so a few of us got together and wanted to invite as many people as possible to have the opportunity to attend that meeting because it was free, so that people could fully could begin to understand, those who didn't have that concept already known to them, and those who did, to continue the engagement, so that together we could forge forward and see how we could do better as humans and people who have had the opportunity to inhabit this planet. So that's how this process started. And from planning for that planetary health meeting to people feeling that there was enough energy and enough will for people to gather together and continue the conversation. So there has been a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, shared values, commitment that we have seen within Africa and without. And that is why we have ACOPPHE as planetary partners, that we within the African continent and those outside of the African continent that support these goals. So I will stop there. Looking forward to talking more about this conversation, and I will hand it over back to Walia for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Nightingale, for that wonderful introduction and reminding us, giving us a little bit of the history of where this organization is coming from. And I am sure everybody here is of a like mind and like hearts towards our goal as ACOPPHE. So I think I'd like to move along down the agenda and have a review on why, when, and how ACOPPHE started. So it might be just a little build on to what you've already, kind of spoken about. So I'll hand over, I think, to Nathan for this one.
Thank you, Walia, and thank you, Nightingale. So at the risk of being overly duplicative, I'll skip to point number 3 on the agenda and just hit some of the highlights about the key events from our first year, which Nightingale touched on, the Planetary Health Annual Meeting that's happened in April. And so whenever we started having the meetings, that was a helpful organizing event to plan for. So we had, if I remember right, around 9 different presenters and several moderators, 2 of which are here today, Nightingale and Samuel were 2 of the 3, along with Melvine. And we had great participation. It was at the very beginning of the Planetary Health Annual Meeting. And I think several of us on the call today were participants in that call. We had close to 100. And so really we had a lot of energy and momentum that's derived from that connection. So the next phase of our first year was follow up and follow through from the annual meeting, where we tried to put in place some leadership structures. And whenever you start in a grassroots way, a lot of these things involve making things up as you go, which attracts some people, but it also is not so attractive to others, because we are transparent about the reality that we're really all volunteer, and that we strongly believe that we're on to something and that we're building something meaningful, but it will take time, and that it's up to us to sort out even in this virtual space with people who a lot of times we may not have met yet in person, but we're figuring out how to get along, how to work together, how to make decisions. And so it took us some time to come up with leadership teams and leadership structures, along with developing the core content for ACOPPHE, which we have always tried to do our best to do in a participatory way, to share ideas about things like our core problem. What are the issues in the world that we see as fundamental challenges that are helping us come into existence? And so what we developed for that was saying that it was both unsustainability and also anthropocentrism, or the idea that people are separate from nature. Then for our vision, we decided that we would lean into the African language elements, and we picked a Swahili word, hasa, to use those 4 letters, HASA, to say that our vision is a healthy and sustainable Africa for all. And those are just a couple of examples that we'll be happy to share in case anyone would like access to them or would like to review, would like to share with someone who you think might be interested in connecting with ACOPPHE. But the basic idea is that phase 2, in this very broad brushstroke overview about our first year, was followed up from the annual meeting, where we were trying to lay the foundation for a sustainable and impactful structure. So part 3 was the In Vivo conference, which happened in December, and we had great representation at the In Vivo conference. We had quite a few presentations done by ACOPPHE members with especially strong representation from the Mentoring and Research Network. So we really were interested and impressed to see how strong the interest and reception was by other participants in the In Vivo network. And so we are very much looking forward to the next steps, which from what we understand, probably next month in January, the In Vivo network is going to be trying to open up space to connect with others who share these interests. And so we really have huge potential, and it really seems like the main limitation is on us, how much we're able to carve out space from our busy lives to connect and co-create and continue moving forward. And so just a preview about what we are emphasizing for this meeting, that we're both looking backwards at our first year, but very much emphasizing looking forward and what we're going to plan in the year 2022. We have some ideas, but we really need all of you to help us to ensure that those ideas are translated into action, which will take a regular meeting, a lot of serious consideration. And so especially the second half of the meeting will be a lot more interactive. We're thinking of breaking into breakout rooms so that you get to know each other a little bit better and can do a deep dive into some specific questions about what comes next for ACOPPHE. So the last point to make is just that we really appreciate each and every one of you for taking time, even today during the new year and holiday season, to come together and to connect. And we really appreciate that dedication, and we're looking forward to an exciting year. We're inspired by the All Volunteer Network of collaborative and service-minded leaders, and really see that the sky is the limit for what we can do together. So those are a few of the key highlights to hit for the timeline, and maybe just want to circle back and see if anyone has any questions, has had any challenge accessing the agenda. We are open. Feel free to raise your hands, to comment in the chat, and we'll do our best to be sure that everyone is actively participating and on the same page as much as possible. So if nobody has anything to share or questions, the next item on the agenda will be Nightingale, where we do a little bit of movie time with sharing of clips from some of those presentations that were done for the conferences and events. Over to you, Nightingale.
Thank you, Nathan. So I think we can move on to the next step, as I have the video still loading.
And Wally, I see you're muted. So
I said a lot of wonderful things right there. Okay. What a waste. Okay, so so we're looking at point number 5, and this is on leadership and engagement opportunities, and I'll be looking at action teams. And we had a meeting recently and created a new WhatsApp group for action team leaders. I just recently became one. I don't see my action team there, Nathan. But anyway, it's all good. I think I am the umbrella person, the one that moves between the spaces. So that's okay, not a problem. But we have the following teams on: the Mentoring Research Network. We have climate change and community engagement, the arts, indigenous and knowledge systems, biodiversity, community biodiversity partners, education, One Health, law policy and partnership action teams. And of course, the communication team as well. Now, I just recently became the leader of the communication team, so I'll speak a little bit for the team that I'm going to be working with. It's a new team, I think, that we've just put together, and our job and our projects and focus are getting ACOPPHE on the map, getting ACOPPHE seen. I think I said that in the beginning, and making sure that we stay connected to each other as teams and in groups, because our main focus and our main goal is towards ACOPPHE, and also making sure that the work that we do is impactful. So my job will be to be making sure that all the communication happening between the executive team members and the teams and what's happening in the teams is communicated to everyone across, and making sure that our events are organized properly in collaboration, obviously, with the executive teams, helping with the teams making decisions, and also one of the things that I want to get off the floor at the beginning of the year with our team is to start off with a podcast. So I would like to invite and let you know that all of you are going to be participants in this podcast, and we're going to make it fun and inviting and enticing. So that's what I will be doing. I will hand over to the other team members to have at least 2 minutes each to speak about what their teams hope to do, their key events and projects that they're expecting to achieve in the year 2020. So I'm going to speak, I'm going to ask if Samuel or Mona can give a little bit of a 2-minute chirp on the Mentoring Research Network, like a quick background and quick prediction on what you're going to do. Is any one of those two here in the group?
Good evening. I see Dr. Mona is not here. My last communication with her was that she was going to do that. And as such, I have not made any preparations to give any discussion regarding the MRN. Unfortunately, although she had mentioned she was going to prepare for that 2 minutes, I can see she's not part of those who are in the meeting presently. Perhaps when she joins, she would do that if it's okay.
Okay, let's hope that she comes in like towards the end of point number 5, so she can then give in. So then I'll give it to the next person on climate change and community engagement. So anybody from that team, or especially the team leaders, can come in.
Thank you so much, Wara, for your time. And hello, everybody. My name is Gugu Mona, and I am from the Climate Change and Community Engagement Action Team. I just want to double check with Nightingale if she would like to project the slides with the music, or she would like me to take the team through the presentation.
Gugu, please go ahead and take us through the slides.
Okay, I will just go ahead and see if I can share the slides from my side. Just okay, just a moment. Share screen. Okay. Please do let me know if you're able to see the slides.
We can see them.
Yeah, the slides are visible, yeah.
Yes, so we were tasked to share what our hopes are for ACOPPHE for the year 2022. And within the climate change and community engagement team, we thought these are some of the things that we would like us to look into as ACOPPHE community broadly. We would like to review the vision and the mission on a broader level, and also making sure that the mission is aligned to the objectives, but also to see that the action teams are aligned, so there's clear communication between, say, the climate change part and the research team, or even the indigenous action teams, like so to be well aligned, so that we are all within our objectives. And of course, the registration of the organization is very key for us, so that we can work in a well structured manner. Also growing the organization, you know, across Africa and beyond in terms of collaborations. And you'll see later on when we look at the collaboration specifically on which areas we would like to look at, and with whom we'd like to collaborate with. We'd also like to, you know, to have well-planned, executed, evaluated, and documented solutions. So as action teams, when we come together and come up with solutions, we definitely would like to check how we can go ahead and implement those solutions, as well as document them, so that those coming after us, they can see that this is the path that we took, and that's how we actually followed up on the work that we did, and so that our work is traceable if we have it well documented and accessible in a document repository. But the other thing is also to have a contact list that's available for all the members. Am I still audible?
You're audible, but your slides are not moving, so nobody can see where you are at right now on the presentation. It's still just on the first page.
Okay, please tell me if you can see.
We can see the presentation, but the slides are not moving. You're on the first, yeah, you're on the first slide still.
Still, okay.
Yeah.
Can
you do a slideshow?
I was on a slideshow actually.
Oh, okay. It wasn't coming through on this. Okay.
Is it
Go
showing
ahead.
now?
Yes, it's showing now. Go ahead. You've got 1 minute to round up.
Okay. So the other thing, can you see the part that shows collaborations?
No, we're on my hope for a coffee. It's the list with review of vision, mission, broader yet attainable. Collaborations is the next page.
Yes, I'm there now. I've moved to
All right, we're not-
collaborations. So we're looking at collaborating with, other higher institutions of learning. We have the ones that we are collaborating with at the moment, but, extending the invitation to other institutions as well. We may have done a better job of reaching out to universities, but we may not have reached out to, colleges and other institutions that are maybe of private nature and of course, non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, government departments, religious organizations, and schools. But with the schools later, we can work on this after the memorandum of understanding has been finalized, because there are some processes that we need to be clear on as ACOPPHE, and making sure that we are well within the policy and the rules of engagement as far as engaging minor children on community engagement activities is concerned. So we are, can you see this slide on community outreach?
Not really. Not really.
You are moving, but it's not changing the screen for us.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Fine, just speak through. It's okay.
Okay, so I'll just wrap up on to say that we're looking at more networks within the communities within the African continent and of course beyond Africa, to have virtual and in-person meetings with various communities, well-documented outreach and policy and protocol, because we want to be clear on saying that if we are to reach out to a community in Nigeria, what are the steps that we need to take to reach to that community, so that they know that we have followed the due processes of reaching out to that to that community. So it's a process that we are willing to work with the communications team to help us on this one, and of course, well implemented and documented community engagement strategies. So we are looking at how we can implement all the plans that we have as the climate change and community engagement action team, and we would like to look at how we evaluate all the processes, so that whatever we may have not been able to achieve in the year 2022, then we can carry it over in the other year, but hoping that we can meet most, if not all, of our objectives. So simply put, in conclusion, is that if we can clarify who we are, what we do, why we do it, where we do it, with whom and when, we can then look back a year later and realize that we have made good strides as ACOPPHE. Thank you so much for your time. I know I've gone way beyond the time, and apologies about those slides. Thank you so much. Back to you, Walia.
All right, thank you so much, Gugu. This is very, very, very useful, including our children. I think you can also read the chat for feedback on what you've just let us know. But I think also just your way in which you're looking at strategizing, I think it would be nice for all other teams to have a look and see where they can use some of these strategic points that you've shared with us. Okay, Gugu, are you able to? All right, there you go, to get your screen. So thank you so much, Gugu, for that. I would like to now ask for the Art or Indigenous Knowledge Systems team to come in and say a few words. That would be either Menzi or Vanessa. I don't know if Menzi's here. Vanessa might also be able to speak on it.
Hello, Menzi is not here, right?
Don't think he is.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I saw that the decision was to put together the art, culture, and community with healing and traditional medicine. That's nice. I think Mensa is gonna be happy about it. Yes, so the intention, in my perspective, I would love to Mensa to complement that, is to deep dive in the indigenous culture, to bring it not only about their culture, to bring to the planetary scene, but also to understand their healings and their practice and their knowledge through culture, through language, and to try to make this connection or link with the scientific world. So this is my intention. I am in the mentoring research network too, as a secretariat. And we are working strongly. The paper that we are investing now is about traditional medicine. So I think it's going to be very rich to be able to bring the art, culture, and community action team with this focus in this first moment, so we can kind of collaborate and make a connection between these action teams. And also, I'm from Brazil, and as you know, we are because you are, and we have a very strong cultural legacy from you guys here, and it would be great to bring it out too in this through this year in the art and culture group. I guess I said it all. If anybody wants to compliment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I don't think that you need to leave out the dancing and the music as well, because those are forms of healing. And I hope that we'll get to do a lot of that. So, Nathan?
Maybe I can come in briefly just to request, Vanessa, is it okay if we share your video? I know you hit a lot of the same themes, but if you're cool with that, I'll share the screen and we'll watch a quick video of Vanessa as she talked about her dreams. See if I can have it big enough.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Góes, a dancer and an integrative health professional from Brazil. In 2022, I will be collaborating with my ACOPPHE friends and action team leaders, especially the art, culture, and community action team, to bring South America and Brazilian culture, especially indigenous culture, to the planetary health scene. Through culture, I intend to deep dive in traditional medicine knowledge, linking it to the scientific field through MRN Action Team. And also, I would love to highlight the African cultural legacy in Brazil. We are because you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Great job.
Thank you.
Back to you. Well, yeah.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm busy muting myself. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for that. I'm very excited about that. To, you know, how do we turn dance into science, into a scientific paper? How do we turn science into a dance, into artwork? So that would be very exciting to see. And of course, as everybody else, you have my support as well. I am a little bit biased about arts, so I would like. All right, so can we move on to the next group, the biodiversity, community biodiversity partners? Can we have the team leaders for that? Are they in the group?
Hello everyone. I
very
cannot
good.
see Daste and Ellie. I think I'm the only one here.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year when I joined ACOPPHE, before I dropped off for a while, there was the CBP working group, that is Community Biodiversity Partners Working Group, which had a drafting team which was developing its goals, objectives, website, logo, and an organogram. And there was a proposal on the organogram. So we look forward to continue with that. There was also a cooking and biodiversity submission to a conference, I think by Vanessa or there was a lady from Brazil who was working on that with Nathan and Nightingale on that. So that was one of the ways of working in the group, doing submissions on biodiversity conservation. Then there are groups on food and agriculture, community, research, and biodiversity. Biodiversity is usually broad, so we look forward to subdivide it into groups which are relevant to health, biodiversity, and the interlinkages between the biodiversity and health. Then we also look forward to revive the CBP working group, because there is a WhatsApp group already, which had already been established. So, and there was also proposals for projects to be done within the CBP group. So that is what we are looking forward to be working on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernice, for that quick presentation. Nate, you want to say something? Go on.
Yeah, quickly, that's a couple of other co-leads for the biodiversity team are guys from Rwanda. One is named Ellie, and he is an entomologist, and he is based in China currently doing his PhD. And another is named Vedast, and he is doing graduate work in the Netherlands and was one of the pillars of the CBP process earlier this year. So Ellie and Bernice and Vedast will be working closely. So if you have interest in the biodiversity side, be sure to follow up with them, and you'll hear more as the days pass. And looks like you're muted again, Malia. Yeah.
Yeah, I think speaking on mute is like the new thing, but okay. I'm going to pass it on to the next team, which was the education team. So I don't know if the leaders are here for the education team. Did they make it today?
Looks like not. We have Jonathan Butemba, who is from Uganda, and he is not currently in the meeting, so we can pass it to the next team lead on the list.
All right, so the next team is the One Health team. Do we have anybody from the leaders from that team?
Also absent, Protus is not here. Yeah.
All right. Not to worry, we will have a team meeting again, but we recognize them, the ones that are not here. I'm also watching the chat at the same time. Other people are asking for the slides from Google's presentation. If you just scroll up a little bit, she has posted them in there. Thank you, Google, for being so generous with your presentation. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last teams group, which is the law, policy, and partnership. Yes, Nightingale?
I just wanted to come in and say I have quite a few of the videos that were shared by the group leaders, the team leads, but as fate may have it, it's not yet downloaded well enough for me to share. So whenever I have it available, I will alert you, and then we can share.
All right.
Sorry.
No problem. That would be great. And then we can just have, excuse me, for those who were meant to be here and they've spoken and shared with you, we'll get to listen to their videos. So the policy and law and partnerships, is that one here or are they absent as well? Mike, put your hand
Also
down.
absent, but that's one is I'll be a part of that with my law background, but Bashiru, who is a lawyer from Nigeria, will be helping to lead this team that's not currently present.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're also looking at Zoe, I saw earlier on, and Zoe was in charge of our magazine. Zoe, can you please share a little bit about that with us?
Yes, not so much in charge, but I had a vision when everybody was talking about their passions and how naturally there were clusters emerging. And any such grassroots organization for me needed a centrifugal element. So because there are going to be so many teams and we won't be able to attend all team meetings. We're not going to be able to, you know, spend as much time together because it's not a full-time job. But a magazine refreshes and allows every satellite crew to know what's happening, but also contributing and sharing to the ACOPPHE community and beyond the beautiful experiences, the beautiful knowledge, the beautiful people, and being engaging in multimedia fashion. So what I did was I created an idea. I just put it out as if a dream, and it would have different sections and how, one second. I'm sorry I didn't turn my phone off. But the whole intention was to have a visual of what could be, because ACOPPHE has so much to give and there's something constructive about it, which is unique to it actually. It clarifies and it makes sure that there is transparency to the highest degree. And I know a lot of organizations say it's transparency, but here in the year that has gone down, everything is being decided very slowly. And because of the slowness, when we look at the work that has been accumulated, it was nearly unplanned, you know, that's the balance I'm starting to enjoy in ACOPPHE. So this magazine is for the community to peel and to transform the way it sees fit so that at least we have the different sections that represent the different groups that keep us updated on what's happening and how we enrich each other and how we share this to the world, whether storytelling, music, art, science, whatever. So that's my bit. Is that a good recap, Nathan and Knight? Because you've been on the receiving end of everything, really.
Yes, that's great, Zoe. And I'll just say two things. One is that we have several communication, if we call them gurus or point people, along with Walia, just to call out a couple of names, Nate and Isaac. And Zoe, I definitely see that the magazine is a core pillar for our communication strategy. And I know that we are actively looking for educational institution likely that would have students that might be ready to take this on as a creative project. And then that's when we talk about arts and culture and indigenous knowledge systems, we have Menzi who just joins, and I don't want Zoe's name to be absent from that team as well, because I know you have a lot of passion for arts and culture as well, Zoe. So if it's okay with you, Zoe, I can share
can I just say one thing?
products.
Can I just say
Yes.
one thing? One question I do have moving forward. The best survival, in my opinion, in my experience, the best way of getting an organization to survive is to start delegating as soon as possible. So going along the lines of what you just said, Nathan, I would like to have people's perspective on the idea that the magazine, we would work, once we're settled on a format, we would work on a guideline of how to build the magazine. And we would go and find students that would actually consolidate the production of it, go in and talking to the coffee communities that need to give the photos, the articles, the videos, doing the interviews and doing the montage. Is that all right?
That makes a lot of sense. I see a connection with what I was talking about earlier on in terms of like the podcasting and the magazine. There's a very strong relationship there. So you and I can sit and talk about that.
Okay, and we're working with Issue. So yes, you can share the magazine.
Cool.
All right.
So maybe you can just stay unmuted, Zoe, and I'll share the screen, and so you can be the one to walk us through, and I'll advance the slides as you advise.
Okay.
Is that visible?
Yes. So lovely pictures of landscape, bold colors, because Africa is known for bold colors and amazing sunsets. Yeah, we can. And for me, there's a part of it that's very romantic and soft on the inside, and there's this kind of air of seriousness, trying to find the balance. Okay, next. So all the magazine issues would have a letter from the community leaders for that issue. And I don't know if it should come out like exclusively with a bit of anticipation every 3 months. Not make it something too regular so that it doesn't just pass underneath the nose of people. It's just like grab into it, and the heart would be speaking of the community. And then we'd go into what to expect in the magazine. Next. So I thought of elephants throughout, because the elephants represent wisdom, community. They also have no sense of territorial boundaries from a nationalistic city crisis that go beyond humans in that way, and they follow water. So I thought that was an interesting symbol, but it's not limited. That's just my pure imagination projecting. And then I was able, with some people in the coordination team at the time, to get invested in sharing about themselves. So this would be a way of celebrating members who have something to say. Next. So yeah, we're just going over these, and I'm sure that we'll share the link, right, Nathan, so that everybody can read it.
Yes.
And forgive my dyslexia, guys. Wherever you see the weirdness. But what I liked is that in talking to these people, we did kind of see the lightheartedness in them. And that's somewhere what I wanted to bring out. This kind of a change does not need to be serious and dull and dry. It can be really lively and full of passion and joy, fun. Okay? Rossi had a lot to say. Nathan, we can turn the page. Okay, cool. Yes, the same. It just turn again because it just spreads on people. So here is the part on advocacy, law, and social sciences. Oh, we have to go back one. So yes, so you're going to see that I try to really capture the idea that there are different groups. This is law and policy. And what you can do in issue is that you can highlight words that will lead you to other articles if you want to read more within the article. So it becomes very dynamic. It's not just an article. It becomes an interactive piece that leads you to other like boxes, a bit like an advent calendar. And then you can add in videos. So when you go onto the on certain aspects, well, we'll go to the next section. So this was with BASH in mind. We can turn the page, Nathan. And this section, the storytelling, ooh, there's a concern with issue. It can be a little bit slow. Can we go back one, please, Nathan? So yeah, this is where the storytelling corner. When you click on the video link, you will see Martine who's reading children's stories, but they're not just for children. And the idea now is within the storytelling group, because there's also Christmas Moy that really likes doing the storytelling and needs to create kind of a space for our storytellers to create videos that can go to this section for all the family to watch. And it just pops up the same way, so it's interactive and fun.
Hello, my name is Martine, and today I will tell you the story of The Strongest Tree, which has been written by Gunter Pauli, inspired by a famous Colombian woman who's called Melva Ines Aristizaba. I chose this story simply because we always have a lot of things that we think is waste, and sometimes it may be not. How can I ever be the strongest tree in this forest? The more leaves I have, the more energy I get from the sun. The more leaves I have, the more leaves will fall to the ground.
You could watch a little bit more later.
And mushrooms convert the leaves into new food for me. How can I ever?
What's really awesome about what's happening now with the arts and culture group and with the storytellers that we have in the community would not just be about
be the strongest tree.
Be the stories we hear or have come across, but they could be the stories that we write together. That's kind of our little storytelling channel. So Martine did a lovely cover of Gunter's story as well as Dr. Seuss. So then there is a section between the scientific and the storytelling, which would be the forum. And I don't know, maybe with the podcast, this is where it becomes interesting with the podcast, because the idea is that people also interact with the magazine and send in questions, and all this gets answered back into the magazine. So there's a form of engagement there, but especially managed by students graduating so that they understand dynamics and start getting involved. And we as researchers can go on in the field and know that something's happening in the background. And of course, like the scientific community within ACOPPHE with the MEN, this is just a section for them to share what they've been looking into and the community work that goes with it. Okay, next. I think it comes to an end close. Yes, we're very close to the end. So yes, and then it's not just about the science, it's the true application within the medical sector. How are planetary health ideas and processes being adopted and applied by the medical community for public health? So very specific to human care there. But interestingly, the human care cannot happen without the biodiversity. And then we've got the final page of Au revoir and we love you, where again, there's the entertainment section where you can now listen to the whole mix that, I forget his name. I feel so bad for forgetting his name. I want to say Menzi. Is it Menzi? Oh, wait. He had created a whole playlist of African music. Oh, I feel so bad now. I will remember his name and then forgive me for having forgotten it. But this is the entertainment section when we really delve into dance and music. This was just in my mind. So you have something I dreamt about, but this is just a projection. It needs to be worked on together for it to have the look we want, the flow we want, and then create this workbook that breaks down how you handle the template in production. And each section is done in a particular way. And it should be self-running. So that's what I have to say. Yes, okay.
Oh, thank you so much, Zoe, for that. I feel like a kid that's just had a lot of sugar the way I'm so excited. I'm so excited and so happy to see how, you know, this is very important, you know, to bring ACOPPHE alive and capture the spirit of the people, you know, in this group and what we want to do. It might also sometimes be very difficult to capture, you know, some of the things like the scientific place, but this is a good place to find a creative way to put it out there as well. And then also just put in all the other things that people don't really expect from an organization, all the playful but important stuff to our personal health. So I'm so excited about it. I'm really, really excited. So we will work together and we'll look at it. Okay?
Fantastic.
All right. Awesome. Nathan, I think we just move on. Nathan, I think you're going to come in with the executive team and coordination words, a few words about that.
Yes, so very briefly, just a follow-up from the points that I had made earlier about how this ACOPPHE dream, this project, this community is gradually, slowly but surely coalescing as if from the ether. So we have a couple of leadership structures. The initial one was the coordination team, which we still have several representatives from the coordination team who are here together with us now. So Zoe, Nightingale, myself, Vanessa, Samuel, Grace. So I think roughly 7 of us are here. And what we really took away as a lesson learned from the initial iteration of the coordination team is that we do need to have clear responsibilities, clear tasks that help us to know what we are doing together, what the accountability structure looks like. And so we are in the process of revising the coordination teams to try and ensure that it's composed of people who are especially active in the leadership realm of the action teams and can really serve as a cross-pollinating, cross-fertilizing, energizing, connecting space to connect to the general members of the ACOPPHE community to the different action teams, and then to the communication team, certainly, and then to this little thing we call the executive team, which is those of us who are collaborative by heart, recognizing that we do need to step up to take initiative and to make some decisions, even if we are always trying our best to do it on behalf of the greater good, the greater community, meaning future generations, people and life forms all across planet Earth, including non-human species. So we do have an ambitious spirit that runs through us. And so our executive team is really doing the best we can to help us to move forward. And as it stands right now, the executive team is composed of 5 members, myself, Nightingale, Samuel, Dr. Mona, and also Chanel. So those are just a few brief words, but in closing, really want to emphasize that this is a space where we are all leaders and learners and listeners together. And so if you have a passion that is calling you to engage in this space, we warmly welcome you to say whether it's to join one of the action teams that has already been shared, or if you feel the calling to form another action team, we'll be happy to empower you, enable you, walk together with you in this space to try and be sure that we can serve the best that we can and bring out the best in each other. So I will end with that and back to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nathan, for that brief background into the teams, the executive teams, and the collaboration team. And I really hope that, you know, we will have more time and we will step up. And thank you for also opening it up for people with ideas to come forward and put their ideas forward to the executive teams and the coordination teams. Okay, so the next, I think at this point, Nightingale, would you want to play the video that you had started in the beginning? Because the next section that we're going to go into now, Nathan formulated some very important questions that we need to ask ourselves. And we wanted to form breakout rooms for each of you and give 10 minutes for each group to come back and, to have a conversation with each other about these questions. And then we would have a feedback session afterwards. So I was just wondering, Nightingale, if you wanted us to first just put a little bit of music in, and then, okay, there we go. All right, that
So
was
just to say,
sorry,
That's
Max.
great.
I
That
was
was
gonna say
great.
that was awesome. I just wanted to brag that that's what we do at ACOPPHE, it's just how we roll. So we hope that we'll keep rolling like this. Thank you so much to the MRN team. And Nightingale, on to you.
thank you very much. So yeah, that's the work that has been done by a good number of the people who are here. I know we have, I don't want to name names because we are quite a few, but thank you for the work that you all put in, including the people that weren't here and others that were not featured because it was a last minute collection of our work. So we will be doing more moving forward. So thank you to the team. I also have the one downloaded by the action team leaders that were able to submit some work. Can I play that one real quick? Okay, thank you. Let me get it here.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Góes, a dancer and an integrative health professional from Brazil. In 2022, I will be collaborating with my ACOPPHE friends and action team leaders, especially the art, culture, and community action team, to bring South America and Brazilian culture, especially indigenous culture, to the planetary health scene. Through culture, I intend to deep dive in traditional medicine knowledge and action team. And also, I would love to highlight the African cultural legacy in Brazil. We are because you are.
Hello everyone, my name is Banis Karemi Reri from Kenya, co-leader of the Community Biodiversity Partners at ACOPPHE. At the beginning of the year, ACOPPHE looked like an idea, but 1 year down the line, we can see what hard work, dedication to a cause can create. My hope for ACOPPHE for the year 2022 is to see a cohesive team working together for the posterity of people and the planet through teamwork, integrity, unity, and professionalism, tackling sustainability challenges along the way with amicable solutions, advancing in growth of ACOPPHE programs and membership towards a healthy and sustainable Africa for all. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eli from Rwanda. I'm currently in China where I'm doing my PhD on agriculture, entomology and pest management. I'm really very happy to be a part of ACOPPHE team and very happy about the previous ACOPPHE's achievements. This year I'm really interested in linking human and nature. So if in a different project of education, after biodiversity and I'm really very happy to be a part of mRNA and one of action team leader about in the field of biodiversity. So with mRNA team, with us, we will work together to reach our missions to create a beautiful natural a beautiful word, a shared word. If I say a shared word, it means the world where the animals, plant, and human will enjoy the natural beauty. This is what we may call, or this is what we call planetary health, sustainable planetary health. So we work together, we can make it, we can achieve it. Yayo.
The fearless crew went to the moon to search beyond for something new. They turned around, beheld the view, and there it was, our jewel of blue. On their return, what did they see? Is our home in the state that it should be? What can we do to make it right? Emerging groups will now ignite. Answers merge from within our soul. Our love applied is reaching more. Old stories we will wash away, embracing change to pave the way. A beauty dwells in concrete gray. It's not just colors we need to embrace. We'll ask the children where they need to be. They hold the visions that will help us see again. Again. space for more, wider eyes and healing hands, new story. That's how we expand our humble home to be preserved for harmony. We all deserve deep inside. We all do know earth will rise with ebb and flow when nurturing the seeds we've sown. We'll spread our love and watch them grow.
It was muted, so you did not hear the music, is it?
We did. We heard everything.
Heard? Yeah.
Okay.
Get everything. It was
All right.
beautiful.
Thank you. So,
Yes.
thank you.
Mhm.
So thanks for the contributions. And the music is by a singer called Steve. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for that. I think we're supposed to go now into our break off rooms. We're supposed to go break off rooms, but
I think it's breakout
Break-
rooms, is that right?
reason the word out just escaped me, but anyway, to breakout rooms. Now I'd just like to find out how many of us we are, because it might actually not be necessary, and we can just find a way to this, look at the questions that for us to look inward and have a discussion on that. Also considering our time now, we're trying to make sure that on my end 8 o'clock, and on that end 6 o'clock we're done, and then anybody that wants to remain afterwards connecting and chatting can do so. So Nathan, can you let me know how many? We're currently 13.
Yes.
Okay.
So really just to echo what Walia shared, that we want to be democratic and go where the spirit and energy flows. In a smaller group, we're able to have more people talk. So that's one advantage, although we lose the spirit of connection to the broader community. So I want to open it up to hear if anyone would like to put a strong vote either for breakout rooms or to remain in our current single room. So feel free to share any thoughts.
Please share it in the chat.
So we have one vote to remain here, and we will lose Yusuf soon. He needs to depart. So I've now seen either 4 or 5 votes to stay here. So I think we call that the strong wave of momentum, and we will remain here. So thank you for weighing in, and thank you, Yusuf, for joining. Look forward to connecting with you soon. So I think Walia, I don't have the agenda in front of me now, but I think you might be the breakout room person. or it's Nightingale.
So,
But either Wally
have-
or Nightingale can.
Nightingale, I think I was gonna handle the discussions, I think. Well, either way. Let me see. Yeah, I was gonna handle the discussions and the report. So Nightingale, I think you can go ahead with the questions for the team since we're not breaking out, and then we'll get to the I think that it was making sense when we had to say report backs and you know, when we had the breakout rooms idea, but now since we're not going with that idea, I think we should just straightforward pose the questions to everybody, and then the contributions you know, to share our thoughts can come in from there. I don't know what you think from your end.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. So really, what I have for a first question is that we have sat or stood in this place in Zoom and listened to different shares from different people. We could not do any justice to the presentations by all the presenters that presented in the various places. And so we will just upload those as we're able, mostly in a website that we're hoping to have come up soon. But one question that I would like to ask us is, having been in this space together today, what do you feel we can do better moving forward, and things that either yourself or others could contribute to move us forward in this cause of being more responsible humans or more responsible living beings on this planet?
Okay, at this point,
and feel free to
at this point, anybody can raise their hand and then take over the mic. Don't rush at the mic. Nathan, you want to say something?
Well, what I got a little lost, honestly. Sorry, that was long. I know I wrote these questions. Nightingale, I don't know if you read from the question, but was it the first one about goals? Like what areas we should focus on in 2022, and what are some measurable goals that we can use to track our progress?
Can you read that question, Nathan? I shared the question that I had, which is different from that one, Nathan, that you shared.
Where did your question come from? I'm curious. Was it spontaneous or extemporaneous?
Spontaneous. Spontaneous. I don't have questions. It was a spontaneous.
That's lovely. The same happened to me. I was reading to the question in the agenda, and I was like confused. It was lovely that.
What I was saying, based on Nathan's question, I think we've kind of heard what everybody said based on the goals. So she kind of asked a different question. Is there anything that we can do better to, you know, improve what we are doing? She directed the question that way because the goals one, it's from all the presentations we have had on, it kind of covered a little bit of that. So she changed direction to what can we do better? Must listen. So anybody feel free, and anybody who's really been part of the team, feel free to let us know what we can do better, what direction we need to take as a coffee. We welcome, you know, anybody's ideas. You think we're great,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's even, you can even say that a coffee is great.
Well, you know, yeah, I think I will say something about Nightingale questions. I think communication is the point, because the organization is it's building up the shape of ACOPPHE, and it demands time for that, since it's something new that we are creating, doesn't have any guidelines or anything. Yeah. So I think the communication is the point where we are going to be crossing all the different parts of the structure. Now we have like executive, coordination, action teams, magazine, which is kind of crossing all of them together. And did I forget any of this? I think that's it. And so communication is going to be linking this and getting feedback at the same time of needs for change, for changing directions. So I think the point is communication, to keep things evaluating, growing, and to keep connecting us to the same goal and the same direction. This is about Nightingale. To focus in 2022. I think it's to activate this idea that we finalized this year with these conclusions, that this was the best way to keep going. So to go for it, act and do it without any fear, just to try it, and we will remake it depending on the results. And some measurable goals that we can use to track our progress. I think it's communication. I still keep it in the communication. That's what I said to Mona. Like, you know, we do this, try this little, because I'm not leading any team, but I'm kind of being active in more than one team. So I told her, I mean, the most important thing is to communicate. If you feel like that my actions and the things that we are doing in our missions, like the executive post action that I'm doing in the MRN, if you feel like that something is not going on, you just, you know, tell me right away, and then we remote it. So yeah, I would say communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Evangelist Garmonde, you had your hand up. Are you still here? Evangelist,
you're muted, Garmonde.
Oh,
you're muted.
I'm mute. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, we're getting you.
Hello. Am I in?
Yes, you are. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the program, and I'm so amazed to have a kind of a team here. And it's a wonderful thing sharing ideas, especially when I started to follow the program. Even though this is my first time here, I'm from Liberia, and I appreciate being part of this team. Like the questions you asked, and from from the mini presentation, I discovered that the team have been doing actually well. But then when it comes to moving forward, it would be good that, like our sister said, it would be good that
I think the network has gone off, or is it me? Is everybody able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's the network.
Okay. Let's see if we can if he'll get back.
I think yeah, he's
Anybody
trying to get back.
If there's anybody else who has a comment towards this question, can you please come in, say something?
Okay, good afternoon. I'm from Liberia. This is Dr. Molu Koso speaking.
Good afternoon, Dr. Morlu. Very nice to have you here. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would first like to commend you guys for the hard work you are doing. I can see that you are putting a lot of good things in place. But to just buttress what the first said about question, I think it's right. When we communicate with
Oh, well, I cannot listen. Is this for everybody? It's cutting.
why it is. So I think our energy should be focused on the energy of the group to be focused on communication. And we should be able to move the organization forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marley, but we heard nothing. Your connection was really bad. So if you don't mind, can you please just put what you said in the chat? I think that would be very useful. Sorry about that.
Did you get me right?
Not at all. We didn't.
Yes. Oh, it's poor network.
Yeah. Can you write in the chat for us what you were saying? Is this Google?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you write in the chat what you just said? We can't hear you.
Yes,
Yeah, can you?
I can hear you clearly.
All right, can you please write in the chat what you just said, because we didn't hear anything.
Okay, sure, I will surely do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for attempting to encourage, share your encouraging word. This is Google. When you figure a screen bar, you arrived on the screen bar like you had something to say. Would you like something? Would you like to say something? Not to pick on you, but
okay, not a problem at all, sis. I definitely think that as ACOPPHE, we are on the right path to obtaining our objectives. What would be more crucial is back to the comment made by Vanessa earlier on about communication, and also, making sure that there's two-way communication, like the action teams are able to back to the communication teams, and the communication team is able to disseminate the activities that were done by the different action teams, because that's going to, if we then are, very strategic on how we communicate internally, it will help us to avoid having parallel systems. For example, I was not aware of the magazine idea and the beautiful work that was done as far as the magazine is concerned. But now that we know, okay, there's these great activities happening as far as, the magazine is concerned, and research, perhaps a research team can also, in the longer run, publish some of their findings within the magazine, and with us as the community engagement team within, working on climate change issues, we can be able to, work with the magazine team to disseminate some of the activities that we do in the community. So a two-way communication will be essential indeed. I just wanted to echo what was said earlier on communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gugu. Thank you so much. I think it's very clear for this question that everybody's pointing towards communication. So, whew, yeah, that's a big job, but we will all work together. And my spirit is very happy about that. I hope that we will work very well in unison. I'm a very open person, so I'm happy to, with my team, move this forward. I think we should move on to the next question, and maybe another set of people will engage with that question as well. Nightingale?
Hey, thank you. Let me try to get to it because my connection is giving me some problems on my computer. I may have you read it. Oh, well, I guess it's coming now. So we had the goals one, and I feel like it's been addressed, at least some, by some of the people who have talked. No, I lost it again. No. I think someone, oh, here.
Do you want me to read
so
it?
How can we, yeah, just read it, because I keep losing it as I try to.
Actually, Vanessa.
So yeah, the next question, stable growth. How can we build a strong foundation to move to the next stage, such as finances, registration, organizational best practice, and so on? How can we effectively engage our members and our allies to help us succeed? That's the question. Thank you.
All right, I'll allow 5 minutes discussion on this. So those hands, woo, there's so many of them, please. If you're trying to put your hand up and you can't see, can you use the reaction button? Because maybe you're putting your hand up and we can't see. Otherwise, just take over the mic and go for it.
I also just managed to repost the question so that it's the most, well, close to the most recent one that is up there. So you can look at it.
Can I say something?
Yes, you are absolutely welcome.
Okay. Regarding how to build a strong foundation to move to the next stage, registration is very important. I think we should first complete that so that, especially regarding finances, you need to have like a location, registration documents in order to move forward with fundraising for your programs. So for the organization's programs, and also for the finances, in order to approach like donors, you require like a strategic plan for the organization. So we should like be thinking of maybe 5, because this is a new organization or a young organization. We should be like looking into developing a 5-year strategic plan to show what we are intend to do, where we are going, where we'll be in the next 5 years. That will be utilized in especially approaching donors. So registration is quite important at this stage in order now to move to actions, because we'd also like to have like action teams like the CBP, for example, where I'm co-leading, we require to have like projects that impact lives and also have feasible changes on the planet, for example. So that requires also writing proposals. So without such like those kinds of documents, it is quite a challenge. So we should be looking forward to developing maybe a strategic plan for the next 5 years, because we are a young organization. Then that way we can be able to even approach donors for fundraising. And also we should also be focusing on registration of the organizations, so that those, when you are asking for donors money, those are the requirements that are required: registration, documents, among other documents. But at least having being registered, it's a step forward. Then as we also acquire other documents, there are several documents which are required in the process of organization, such as this, and also which are usually asked, we are supposed to attach when you are fundraising, especially when it comes for projects. Then a strategic plan will also be a guiding document for the organization moving forward. I think that was important for me to say.
Thank you so much, Bernice. That's very, very, very important. I think we've taken note of that, and I hope that yeah, we will work, all of us together, to create these documents, as well as the strategic plan. The strategic plan is very, very important. So thank you for bringing that up, Bernice. Anybody else?
Yes, I definitely agree with the registration process. It is like the pillar of what we are going to do later on in the year 2022. So in addition to what Bernice was saying, we would anticipate a process whereby on our next meeting, maybe because earlier on we spoke about the need to have, immediate, quick timelines and not push things to later on. So somewhere in the beginning, early Jan or mid-Jan, if we can have the meeting whereby a team is selected to say, maybe do we say the executive team is going to work on the registration process, or anybody else who's been involved in other activities that relate to, like with that kind of expertise as far as registering organizations is concerned, can come on board and then work with the executive team to make sure that the necessary documents are there, to fast track the registration process. But if we can be clear on who will be involved in the registration process and by when, it will help us to, to move forward very quickly with this process. Earlier on, in one of the meetings, Nightingale did mention that there was one of, colleague or expert subject matter expert as far as registrations is concerned. So if we can have her on board, be involved with the executive team to fast track the registration process, that also help us address the question that was raised earlier on as far as registration is concerned. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sis Kuku. I think there's a comment from we proceed with transparency. Meeting at the beginning of the time, and then start looking at these things. All right, Vanessa, we're going to be done. Nightingale, please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to really just mention that is Gift Google mentioned, we're in the process of engaging a lawyer. I see Nathan also mentioned that we will proceed transparently. So that's what we're going to do, and most especially keep the team, the action team leaders on board with this whole process and engage them, and then let everybody know as we proceed. And once we register, the other thing will be, or maybe concurrently, working on a website as well, so that this information is more readily available.
All right.
And like we all know, this process.
Is it me or your night? Looks like your
Yes,
network.
I'm done. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's my network.
Okay, no problem. All right. So the last question I think was about partners, and yeah, we've got about again probably 3 minutes to answer this one. Are there groups that are doing work that we should reach out to? Are you connected to projects, organizations that can help us maximize our positive impact? So if there are groups that you're that you know that you're working with a similar intentions, please let us know. You can let us know now or let us know in the I think that was the third question, right, Knight? On the list, I'm not looking at the agenda.
Yes, that's the last question. Thank you.
Is anybody connected to any organizations, and how can we, or groups, and then that we can, you know, kind of work or collaborate with in order to maximize our positive impact? Okay, Nathan's saying that the Liberia team has very strong representation here. Yes, okay. There's a comment in, whoa, okay, everything is going really quick in the comment section. So I think I'll let it just go a little bit. Okay,
So maybe I'll.
Okay, go on, Nathan.
Yeah, just quickly expand on the comments that I posted, which in summary, the idea is that it's local and global. It's one country within Africa and the continent-wide and even planet-wide network that's we need to build a strong foundation, and we can't really register simultaneously in every country. So we need to do a process like partner mapping to say who is already active in this space, what are the gaps that we need to fill, and how can we enter in a way that acknowledges, appreciates, and even celebrates the great work that is already happening. But we do believe that we have some unique flavor or spice to offer to the recipe. And I think that's really celebrating our diversity and saying that as much as possible, we know we need to be decentralized. And as Garmati posted in the chat, each country has unique issues and laws and policies. So we really want to welcome everyone who is based in a country to either say there's already this team on the ground and they're looking to partner and collaborate. So they want to work together with ACOPPHE or whatever Africa-wide network that really integrates and combines health and environments. These are some of the basic ideas that we're looking to. But just to be transparent, that's as part of the executive team, we're looking at registering in Kenya for ACOPPHE, and we're also looking at Egypt, especially because the upcoming United Nations climate change conference that will be held in November will be hosted by Egypt. So having a team and an organization on the ground in Egypt will strategically be very advantageous for us in trying to ensure that in the very important issue of climate, our team is able to have a voice and also, as much as possible, bring in more voices, especially from community members who are right now not actively engaged in that process. So the Liberia team I mentioned, we had Fumba earlier in the meeting, James Fumba, and we have Garmady. We also have Dr. Korsor and Dr. Ogol. Dr. Ogol is from Kenya, but several years ago, we worked with the Liberia team to start an organization called ACOPPHE. And so even if we register ACOPPHE in Kenya and MRN in Egypt, we have ACOPPHE in Liberia, and we really want to, as much as possible, help each other out because we all need to rise together. And we know that there are some real challenges when it comes to registration, that you have to have an organogram with certain people in the hierarchy, and you have to have a budget where you're trying to draw resources and funding from a limited pool. But as much as possible, if we do this transparently and really supporting each other, that's how I think we can both have the country-based teams grow while still building the broader umbrella network of Africa-wide and planet-wide planetary partners.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for expanding on or explaining further on your points and the absolutely important points that we need to consider. At this point, with now 8 o'clock here, which will be 6 o'clock there, I would like to ask Nightingale to officially close the meeting so people are not feeling like they need to stick around if they have to leave, because we did say 2 hours. So Nightingale, can you please just do an official close, and anybody that wants to hang out afterwards can do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Walia. I want to step in and say thank you very much to each one of you for all the sacrifices that you have made, both big and small. I would like to acknowledge people from all different parts of the world that are here. And I do want to give a very special appreciation to anybody who has connected from Liberia, because I have been to Liberia and I know the difficulties of connecting from that place. So thank you very much for making this sacrifice. It's not just a time sacrifice, but a monetary sacrifice. I know we have all sacrificed money, but it's also good to remember that we have a lot of unevenness just globally. So thank you, everyone. We will continue this conversation. It's just a beginning. And be on the lookout for messages from the team. Feel free, very, very free to reach out to any one of us, like we heard at the very beginning. Walia, the person who has the name of Nyangulungu, the person who's been talking probably the most, is the communications leader. And so if you would like, she will be sending out information so that you can reach out to her team, but you can also feel free to reach out to the rest of us because we're all leaders in our own right. We will also be reaching out to the people that came a little late. I see Sarah Waite, I think Sarah Waitinde. Lucy Ogol will be reaching out to you to give you updates, but we also have recordings that we will share briefly in the next few days. So thank you so much for all that you have given. We are wishing you a beautiful year ahead, hoping that you'll be able to accomplish a lot of the goals that you have set for yourself and collectively the goals that we have set for ourselves. So asanteni sana. You can stay on like Walia said, Nyangulungu. If you have something that you'd want to discuss, some of us will be here waiting to connect. If you want to unmute and in your own language, it'll sound like chaos, but in your own language, if you can unmute and just say thank you or bye, or whichever word comes to you, we will appreciate that. I also want to mention that we did have a very special gift from Gift Google Mona. It was being put together by some children who did not get to deliver it this time, but I know it will get to us. And once it gets to us, we will deliver it to you. So again, unmute and say the words that you want to share at this point. Asanteni sana is all I can say, which is thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Gratidão.
Gracias. Thank you, everyone.
Which is gratitude.
Tasha. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through and sharing in the spirit. I hope up the energy up and